Deep in the heart of the Amazon rainforest in Brazil lies a lush jungle village where kids play beneath the tall trees. Animals roam free, and life is one big celebration. Here we meet our hero, Ava, a 10-year-old girl with long flowing locks who lives in a little hut with her pet parrot, Rex. Now, this isn't just any parrot. Oh no, this guy has a special gift. He can call upon the rain. And let me tell you, the whole village loves Rex for it. Every day after school, Ava and Rex would practice their own special rain dance. They'd twirl and stomp and clap their wings, calling upon the clouds. And sure enough, fluffy gray clouds would gather overhead and pitter-patter. The much-needed rain would fall. It was a beautiful sight to behold. The tall trees swaying in the breeze, the lush green plants sparkling with water droplets, and all the animals raising their heads to the sky in gratitude. But this didn't last forever. One day the sky remained clear and cloudless. No matter how hard Rex tried, the rain simply refused to come. Day after day, the sun beat down on the jungle, turning the once lush greenery to a crispy brown. The animals grew weak and thirsty, and the villagers worried for their crops. Even Rex started losing his feathers. And then he fell ill. As Ava sat by Rex's cage, tears streaming down her face, she made a vow. She would find the reason for the missing rain and bring it back no matter what. Suddenly, Rex chirped feebly, "Follow me." With newfound strength, he flew to the window and out into the dry, dusty air. Ava, wiping her eyes, put on her favorite jungle print skirt and rubber boots and followed him. Their journey took them deep into the heart of the withered jungle. All around them, the trees were bare, the ground cracked, and the animals had fled. Just when Ava's hope began to fade, Rex landed on a rock and let out a loud squawk. He was pointing his beak towards a dark opening in the rocks ahead. Taking a deep breath, Ava walked towards the opening. As she neared it, she heard a rumbling sound like the growl of a very hungry beast. What could it be? With trembling hands, she pushed aside the vines covering the entrance and gasped. Before her lay a huge cavern filled with billowing clouds. But that wasn't the only surprise waiting inside. Emerging from the shadows was a fearsome creature. It was a mix between a jaguar and an anaconda, with sharp claws, piercing fangs, and a pair of horns. And in its mouth, it held a shimmering crystal that looked strangely familiar. It was one of the dewdrops Rex used to call the rain, only instead of sparkling with morning freshness, it was dark and cloudy. Gloom, the rain eater, hissed. "You found my secret lair? Too bad you're too late. I've already swallowed all the clouds." Ava felt a surge of anger mixed with sadness. Her beloved jungle was dying because of this beast. Suddenly, Rex flew forward and squawked, "Give back the clouds, Gloom! You're destroying our home!" Gloom opened his mouth to retort, but Ava stopped him. "Wait, why did you do it? What's wrong?" Gloom hesitated, then whispered, "The humans are cutting down all the trees. Soon there will be no more jungle. When that happens, I'll have nowhere to live. So I decided to take matters into my own hands. I'm hoarding the clouds to force the humans to change their ways." Ava understood his pain. She too loved the jungle and couldn't bear the thought of it being destroyed. But she couldn't let Gloom destroy everything either. She needed to bring back the rain, not just for her jungle, but for Gloom too. An idea sparked in her mind. "How about a deal? I'll bring back the rain for your plants, and in return, you'll give back the clouds so Rex can use them again." Gloom considered this. "Very well, but I warn you, if you fail, your jungle will wither." And with that, he disappeared into the cave. Ava turned to Rex, her heart pounding. She had to hurry. The whole jungle depended on it. She grabbed some vines and leaves, then returned to the hut. There, she Rum family gathered, their faces etched with worry. "Don't worry, I have a plan," Ava said confidently. Then she went to her secret hiding place where she kept all her treasures. She brought out an old rubber tire, some bamboo sticks, and a large leaf. Carefully, she tied the bamboo sticks to the tire, creating a sturdy frame. Then she placed the large leaf on top, making sure it looked like a giant drum. This was going to be her weapon against Gloom, her leaf drum. Ava knew that when she played a certain rhythm on the drum, it reminded Gloom of the drumming the ancients used to do to call the rain. But first, she needed to get close to him. So she ventured back into the jungle, carrying her leaf drum, and waited near Gloom's cave. It wasn't long before he emerged, his eyes scanning the dry landscape. He let out a frustrated roar, realizing that the plants were still wilting. Without the rain, Things weren't going well. Taking a deep breath, Ava stepped forward. "I have something for you," she said, holding out the leaf drum. Gloom eyed her suspiciously, then reached out a hesitant claw. Ava handed him the drum, and he examined it closely. His expression softened, and he let out a low growl, almost like a purr. Then suddenly, Gloom raised the drum high above his head and started beating it with all his might. At first it was slow and hesitant, but then the rhythm picked up the pace. Faster and faster he played, his claws hitting the leaf with such force that raindrops started flying everywhere. A small smile touched Ava's lips. It was working. As Gloom played, the clouds in the cave started rumbling. One by one, they floated out, taking on a darker, rain-filled form. The first fat raindrops fell, then turned into a torrent. Soon the whole jungle was thundering with the sound of falling water. Ava closed her eyes, savoring the feeling of the cool water on her skin. The forest was saved. As the last cloud drifted out of the cave, Gloom lowered the drum and looked at Ava with newfound respect. "You were right, Ava. My plants do better with a little rain. And besides, now I have someone to keep me company." And with that, he disappeared into the cave with the last remaining dewdrops. The villagers erupted in cheers when they saw the rain returning. They thanked Ava and Rex, knowing that without their help, their homes and their crops would have withered away. From that day on, Ava continued to dance with Rex, calling forth the rain. She also befriended a playful capybara named Tico, who often joined her in her adventures. Together with her grandma Rosa, a wise botanist who lived at the edge of the jungle, they protected the forest and its creatures, ensuring that the balance of nature would forever be kept. One day while playing in the forest, Tico suddenly froze. His ears perked up and he let out a high-pitched squeal. "Quick, Ava, come help me! Gloom needs our help!" The two friends raced to Gloom's cave, worried about what they might find. Inside, they saw a sight that made their hearts sink. Gloom lay on the ground, his body trembling and his breathing shallow. "What happened to him?" Ava asked urgently. Before Gloom could answer, the cave shook violently, sending rocks and dirt tumbling down. "It's the humans," Gloom gasped, his voice weak. "They're building a road through the forest. If they reach my cave, I'll be trapped and the jungle will be destroyed." Ava knew she had to act fast. She looked at Tico, then at the entrance of the cave, an idea forming in her mind. "Tico, I need you to lead the humans away from here. As for me, I have to stop Gloom from leaving." Tico nodded understandingly and dashed out of the cave. Meanwhile, Ava grabbed onto Gloom's tail, preventing him from moving forward. "Sorry, Gloom, but you're not going anywhere," she said firmly. "But the humans," Gloom started, but Ava cut him off. "I'll handle them. Just stay here and rest." With that, she turned and faced the approaching danger, ready to protect both the jungle and its strange inhabitants. As the sound of machinery grew louder, Ava stood firm. She knew that the fate of the forest rested on her shoulders. Would she be able to save both the jungle and its unusual guardian? Find out next time.